Well, there's two elements in DUIs, and most misdemeanor DUIs, whether they're alcohol or drug. The first element in every one is driving. If they don't have driving, they can't get you. So literally, in answering that question, no, a chemical test alone is not enough. Now, depends on also if they do have driving, the result of that chemical test. If we're talking about drugs, they need to be able to show that you were impaired. How do they show that? Well, an amount and having someone testify to what someone may be, symptoms. If someone's at or over a certain amount that's reported, that, there's something called tolerance for people who take medication. Maybe it's someone's medication that they take all the time and they have a higher tolerance to it and they would not be impaired where someone else taking that dosage for the first time would. There's just a lot that goes into these cases, and this is why we bring in medical experts, toxicologists, and then a lot of times police officers or drug recognition experts will testify about symptoms that someone had. And, when we're talking drugs and not alcohol, it's a lot harder to interpret these symptoms. You don't have these per se numbers like 0.08 with alcohol. It's much different. There's tests for impairment for drugs is much different than alcohol. There have been a lot more studies for alcohol, and testimony can be backed by studies, whereas for drugs, no, they don't have that. And it's very hard to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's why if you're ever on a jury and for a drug DUI, you need to keep your ears wide open and not just assume that because someone is there sitting next to a defense lawyer that they must have done it. No, it's very hard to prove these. You need to make sure the prosecution is putting forward enough science and science that convinces you beyond a reasonable doubt, which is very hard to do in drug DUIs.